Now, production. You already asked the question. You have already have asked the question. Production. How did I produce my e-learning and meaning the e-learning videos as the backbone of the course. Now, as you know, as the e-learning professionals know amongst you, everything starts with the creation of a screenplay. And what I did is, you can see me sitting at my desk at home, spending hours and hours in order to write screenplays with PowerPoint and using Microsoft Word. Well, it's, I think, the most time-consuming aspect of creating e-learning or blended learning, writing the screenplays. I have calculated that I have used between 10 to 15 work days for every hour of e-learning. That includes editing and debugging. So it is important, at least from my perspective, that that the material should be free of any spelling mistakes or design mistakes. There will always be mistakes, but if you start to apply a laissez-faire approach, you will end up with a poor quality. This is why I said from the beginning, I want to apply a certain standard. Maybe that's only my nature, but I can't live with mistakes in slides. So I spent a lot of time on editing, and I was lucky because my wife is a professional education, and she did all the editing for my slides. And of course, then I showed the slides to some colleagues, and they shared their views on the slides with me, and I was then able to improve the slides even more. But it is time consuming, and you will hate yourself that you have started such a project. I said, oh my God, every day in the morning, at 5 a.m., the alarm bell was ringing, and I started to work on the e-learning, and I stopped late at night. So it's like writing an extended textbook. And it depends upon your time budget, and if you're on your own, you have to spend a lot of time on creating the screenplays. Now, once you have created the screenplays, what I did is not all of my e-learning is fully accompanied by videos. I only start my chapters with videos and I end my chapters with videos. And in between, there might be a couple of minutes with videos, but the majority of the e-learning is you just hear my voice from the off. And what I did is I did the voice recording with a condenser microphone and a digital preamplifier. That's what you can see here. You can see the microphone. It's one of the most expensive equipments that I have purchased for doing the e-learning. There's a lot of research when it comes to e-learning with respect to sound and quality of videos and quality of sound. My feeling is the sound has to be crystal clear and has to have a good quality, because that has a direct impact on the quality of the e-learning. So better spend more on the microphone than on fancy video equipment. That is my feeling. So just in order to give you an idea, the microphone that you see here, it is around 1,000 euros, the investment cost. It's the same microphone that is used by for broadcasting and radio stations, by radio stations. And the preamplifier is around 500 euros. So 1,500 euros for the recording equipment. If you can share the cost with someone else, with some other instructors, then this might be helpful. I decided to purchase the equipment on my own because I have it always in my at home, in my home office, and so I'm quite flexible for using it. What becomes important is the recording time. Depends upon whether you have a studio available or not. Apparently, as you can see, I use my living room. And this is why I selected these two pictures. It's not in order to show you that I'm an educated person and owning many books. It is because I want to show you how you can create a favorable setting for recording your voice. Because if you stand in front of a bookshelf, this improves the sound. And you can use a thick carpet. You have to stand on a thick carpet. And this helps to increase dramatically the quality of the vocal recording. Besides of some then software, besides of applying the correct software, you should be fine off then. What you see besides of the microphone, what you see on screen here is you can see my iPad. I use the iPad as teleprompter. There is an iPad app. You can see the visual here on the right-hand side of my slides. It's some of you may know that. That's the Teleprompt +3 app. You can download it from the App Store. If you use an iPad, I'm quite sure that a comparable app is available for Android tablets as well. So you can download the app, you can install it on your iPad. And this app uses Dropbox or Google Docs, so you can work on your script, and you can synchronize it with your iPad, and then you can use your iPad as a teleprompter. There's a lot of discussion if it comes to voice recording. Some people prefer free speech. Some people say you should read from a teleprompter. My experience is that you should have a script that has been edited, and you should try to stick to the script. Otherwise, if you listen at a later point in time at what you have said, it's strange. Although, in order to get across in a natural way, well, you have to practice. It's not easy to do voice recording from a teleprompter. That needs some practice. And I made quite some mistakes in the beginning, speaking too slowly, speaking too fast, having no proper pronunciation, etc., etc. So that needs some practice. You should do some practice before you start to record the final versions. Yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, time, if you have no studio, what I do is I get up early on Sunday mornings, because then there is not much sound in the building. Your family is still, hopefully your family is still sleeping, so you have time on your own, and then let's say at 4:30 or 5 a.m. in the morning, you have roughly 1.5 hours in order to do the recording. Yeah, I heard someone's laughing, or
yeah, everyone's laughing.
Yeah, everyone's laughing. Yeah, you have to be a crazy instructor in order to ruin your weekend and for manufacturing e-learning. But anyhow, once you did it, it's you can use it for the upcoming years. Okay. So is maybe a question from your side?
No, it doesn't look so right now.
Okay.
Well, maybe I have a question.
Doesn't look so. Yeah.
I think I know the answer already, but I state it anyway. If you're lecturing in a room, right, you don't script what you're saying. Yeah. I imagine you just you have your PowerPoints and you just give a presentation. Why can't you do this in the same way when you're filming yourself? Because it saves a lot of time.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The point is, if you are in class, you can see the audience and you can react right away. You can adjust right away what you can adjust the information you're presenting. You can try to get your idea. You can try to get your idea across right away to the audience. But that's not possible in e-learning. Apparently, it's you don't see the audience while it's watching your videos. So you have to spend a lot of effort on designing every slide, every illustration, how it builds up. You have to anticipate the questions of the audience. Yeah. And otherwise, there will be questions coming back. So this is, at least from my perspective, what I found out, this is why it's important to spend a lot of time on the script. And once you spend a lot of time on the script, you have to read it from the teleprompter. Otherwise, there are too many informations and the information easily gets lost. Then at a later point in time, I have recorded videos. And by the way, just in order to clarify that, I record videos as well. Like you see me here right now sitting in front of the camera, I'm recording short videos for my students as well, like 3 or 5 minute videos without having a script. But this is on top of the e-learning I'm explaining to you today. And so this is more like a supplemental material. Whereas if it comes to the core material, I think it's like with a textbook. You have to make sure that it will never be perfect, but you have to make sure that it is understandable from the perspective of the students. Because they can ask a question right away and they can go on if they get stuck at some point. So yeah. Is that okay for you, or?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
There's another question. Yeah. Okay, in Delft they have a study about how long a video should be in e-learning, and they say after 5 minutes and 23 seconds or so, the whole yeah, the listeners won't listen anymore. It's only like 1%. Yeah, they click and do something else. So what is your experience with the timing? How long a good video should be?
Same experience, and by the way, there's no other experience from an in-class lecture. After 5 minutes, my students turn away as well if I don't change the method, and you all know that. Yeah, if you don't create activity, if you have like a classical lectures, students will stop to listen after 10 to 15 minutes. That's it. So, but you're absolutely right. I agree with you. What becomes important is what we call information chunking. You have to break down the videos into smaller components. This is why I said, although I'm talking about chapters, chapters are broken down into sequences, into units, sections, and subsections. So the best, what I found out, the best sequential structure is to have one slide for a subsection. And then one slide should cover a topic, and the video should be between 2 to 5 minutes. Well, in some cases, it might be 8 or 10 minutes, but that's still okay. But benchmark or the rule of thumb should be between 3 to 5 minutes. A perfect setting then would create a break where students would have to turn to exercises. But that means that you have to create many exercises. I mean, it depends upon the size of your lecture or the size of your e-learning or the size of the course. But like such a course we're talking about here, you would have to create hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of exercises. This is really time consuming to create exercises. But you're right, information chunking is key. Well, what you can do is you can bundle the chunks within one video, and then students stop after each chunk on their own. Apparently they don't like that, just for psychological reasons. They said if you have a look at the, if you remember YouTube, if you watch a YouTube video, then you always have the status, which shows you how many minutes are still to go. Now, if you have a video which has 60 minutes, and even if you tell the students that they should stop after 3 minutes, they see the size of the videos still to come. And this seems to be frustrating to students, right? Even if they don't have to watch it right away, it creates a level of frustration. So what they want to see is short, they want to see short videos, and where they see then the success that it goes on in a very fast way. Only 30 seconds left. Oh, now I'm done. So that seems to be, from a psychological aspect, that seems to be good for them. Yeah. So that's then why I started to create smaller chunks from my master files. But that's easy. Once you have created a video, you can cut it into pieces and you just put separate pieces in the, or you create separate pieces in your learning management system that can be watched on a standalone basis. Okay.
Yeah, now there's another question here. Maybe.
Oh, possibly not. And do you provide a script for your students to read as well, so that they can learn anywhere, or do they have to constantly be attached to be able to stream the audio or video?
Were you able to hear the question?
Maybe you can repeat the question.
Try.
No, please repeat it.
The question was if you are, if the students have to. Sorry. The question was if the students have to be online to watch the videos, or if there is a supplementing script which they could alternatively read, so they don't have to be in front of a computer all the time.
Yeah, there is an alternative script. Like I said, there is a PowerPoint script with roughly with over 700 slides, and all the slides contain all the material. Although, of course, what I say is not present in the script. You can see the illustrations in the script, but you can hear my voice. So my advice to the students is that they should watch the videos, that they should take notes on the script or besides of the script so that they have them available online. Well, that's maybe only partially satisfying, but once you have prepared a script for the voice recording, that's maybe an additional advantage for having a script. Once you have prepared the script, the next step, meaning the creation of a textbook, is not far away. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm using my illustrations together with my script for the voice recording. And of course, you have to rewrite parts of the script, but it's much easier than to create a textbook. That's the next step. That's what I'm planning to do, is to create a textbook. Well, that takes again some time, but hopefully before I get retired, I have all the material available for my students. And that will be a different way for students to approach the content. And this is then what you call in the US, they have developed at Harvard University, they have developed what they call the UDL concept. I don't know whether you've heard about that. That's Universal Design for Learning. And the idea of UDL is that you create as many channels as possible for your students to access the content. So maybe some students may want to watch your videos, other students may want to read your textbooks. Next, students may want to only want to work with your PowerPoint slides or with exercises. So that is then what is called Universal Design for Learning. And well, that's what I'm aiming at, to have a textbook at some point in time. Maybe in 12 months from now, I'm planning to have a textbook available as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So if there are no more questions, I would go on. So this is the voice recording, the condenser microphone. Now, once you have recorded the sound, the question is, what is the quality of your sound? So what you can do is, if you have, at the beginning I used to work with Adobe Sound Boost. Now there's a new program which is called Adobe Audition, which is the follow-up program. And in the beginning, it was there was a lot of editing work, sound editing work. Once you get experienced with the sound recording, there is fewer and fewer sound editing needed. Especially if we talk about Adobe Audition, there are some settings that you can use, presettings for recording podcasts, and this will right away improve the sound that you record substantially. Still, there will be breaks in between There will be from time to time breathing. Question is whether you can live with that or not. I decided that I want to eliminate sounds that should not belong in a video. So then this might be there might be some sound editing needed, which is then again time consuming. You can read here for 60 minutes e-learning. In the beginning, I used to need 3 work days. Then later on, that was reduced almost to 0 minutes of time if you use the settings in a correct way. And if you have some experience while doing the voice recording, it gets better and better. And one major advice from my side, what is helpful is to get some logopedic training, or in other words, speech therapy. That's what I did. I went to a speech therapist, not because I'm ill, but I wanted to improve my voice. And I wanted to build up the muscles in my vocal cords. You have muscles in your vocal cords. Typically, we don't use these muscles as much as we should do. Well, being an instructor, you're already training your vocal cords to a certain degree, but very often not in a proper way. And if you go to a therapist, they really can help you to develop your voice, and then you're able to create a much better sound, a fuller sound, and everything sounds better. It's like what they say with computer programs: rubbish in, rubbish out. If you improve your speech, if you improve your voice, the full quality of everything will be improved as well. And it also helps you during in-class sessions. And maybe some of the university, I know Hamburg University of Applied Sciences, they offer courses for instructors for free, where you can build up your vocal cords. Maybe your university offers these courses as well. If so, and you haven't used them by now, that's one advice from my side. You should do so. It's good. Okay, now videos. How to do the videos? Well, some universities have studios around, have studios available. Others don't. Well, we have a studio at HAW Hamburg, at the Hamburg University of Applied Sciences, but then you have to book the studio in advance. You only have a certain amount of time available in order to use the studio. So then what I did is, together with some colleagues, we said, we will shoot our own videos, and we'll do the shooting with an improvised studio, which is not much of a problem. We just used a simple video camera. Like every family father typically has a video camera that he can use. You just need a digital video camera where you can hook on an external microphone. That's what you see here on the top right hand photo. You see that there is a microphone. We use a different microphone for the videos. And you can see the lighting. These are really cheap lamps that are typically used by photographers. You can order 3 lamps for under 100 euros from Amazon or maybe from any other supplier. So that's not, costs aren't really high. And also here we have used a green screen. You can see the green screen setting here, where we shot the videos in front of a green screen, which allows you at a later point in time to key in a different background. Well, for recording 60 minutes of video, I'm not talking about 60 minutes of e-learning, I'm talking about 60 minutes of video. So this is what you need then for, let's say, 3 hours of e-learning. We used to need half a work day, because it takes quite some time to adjust the lighting, to adjust the lights, to clarify the position of the lights in the rooms, to set up everything. And well, you just need an environment where there is no sound. Here you can see an office. That's an office of one of my friends has a company, and he has an office. And then we used the office on a Sunday. There was no sound in the office. The whole building was empty, and we had the carpet on the floor, and so everything was, the sound was quite nice in this setting, and we could use this room for free. And well, you can set up the studio in a very fast way. Once you have practiced that a couple of times, you can set up the studio in a very fast way, and you can then shoot your videos, and then you can take home the equipment with you at a later point in time. So that is maybe a nice way to do the video shooting. Also, you can go out, you can shoot the videos maybe in a library, or you can visit companies, you can have interviews with other persons who appear in your e-learning. And if you have such a mobile equipment, it's easier for you or in other words, you're quite flexible, no? To do the video shooting. Yeah, and as you can see here from the lower, from the picture at the lower bottom, if you only use a partial, if you only shoot the upper part of your body, then your shoes don't have to match your suit. Okay, so that was a joke. I don't know if you understand that, but okay. Any questions?
Came across.
It came across. Okay. So, questions?
I'm looking at the room. Sometimes it takes a while, so we wait a bit. No, everyone's still smiling from the joke, so we can go on.
Okay. So once the video shooting is done, what you do is or what I did is we did the video editing with another program, Adobe Premiere. And maybe a little remark from my side. You have heard Adobe. Well, I tested quite some applications, and I found out that I'm fine with Adobe. There are other programs around. You can also use other programs. And Adobe has now the Creative Cloud, where you, as a professor, you can rent all the programs for a favorable rate per month. So I found out that is the least expensive way to get my hands on the software needed in order to do the production. So what you see here is the video editing with Adobe Premiere. What we do is we cut out, or what we did is for our videos, we cut out the persons in the videos. This is what you do with Adobe Premiere. What you need is maybe half a day. Once you have practiced it, you need half a day for 60 minutes of videos. Then you can add the person at a later point in time in your e-learning videos. Okay. So once you have, here you can see the instructor without the green background. So it's only the person. And now the assembling takes place with Adobe Captivate. So you can position the instructor on your slide. You can add the text. You can see at the bottom of the slide, you can see the settings for the timing, where you can animate the various elements. And on the left-hand side, you can see slides to come in this online session. So this is how everything is assembled. It takes some time to get used to Adobe Captivate. You need to practice it, especially if you don't use the program every day. Maybe then after you have not used the program for 6 months, well, then you should account for a couple of days in order to readjust yourself to the program, because it's not as simple as PowerPoint. There's a certain level of sophistication that comes with the program, and as with every Adobe program, there are millions of options what you can do, but you only need to use a fraction of these options. But still, sometimes it gets you might get confused while using the program. So again, it takes some time to get adjusted to the program. Yeah, this is Adobe Captivate. Now, maybe go back one more time, maybe a question with respect to the production process from your side. Otherwise, I would move on to the next chapter.
So there's a question. So,
these slides, can they easily be imported from PowerPoint?
So if you integrate the PowerPoint slides into Adobe Captivate, is that easy, or do you have to kind of revert them to something else first?
Depends. There are various ways to do so. First of all, there is a way where you can import the slides into Adobe Captivate and where you can animate the slides directly in Adobe Captivate. There are some tricks to do so. Also, there is a program which we use right now during this session, which is called Adobe Presenter, which is a program that can be used. Sorry, there might be some background sound here. Hopefully this doesn't disturb you. There is Adobe Presenter, and Adobe Presenter, at least in the Microsoft Windows environment, it can be used in order to animate PowerPoint slides directly. Well, I'm a Mac user. I'm, so to say, living in the Apple environment. And here I use Adobe Captivate directly. I import the slides and I animate the slides in Adobe Captivate in a reversed order. So what you just do is you import the slide and then you cover the parts that you don't want to show to the students, and then you lift the covers, the white covers, and thereby you go on with the animation. Might sound a little bit technical to you at this point in time, but it's not really, we can talk about that at a later point in time. Again, it's not that complicated. There is another option. There's another option where you do not directly import the PowerPoint file into Adobe Captivate, but where you recreate the full the full PowerPoint presentation in Adobe Captivate. Apparently, this is a time-consuming process because in the first place, you create your PowerPoint script, and then only thereafter you would create the Adobe Captivate slides. Then some people say, I don't need PowerPoint at all. I start right away with Adobe Captivate. I create all my slides with Adobe Captivate because you can use Adobe Captivate in order to generate slides in the PDF format. But then I found out if I want to use the slides in the course room, it's not convenient to have a PDF around. For me, it's more convenient to have the PowerPoint slides around. But that's maybe my personal feeling. Other persons might be fine to use Adobe Captivate right away. So there are various ways to deal with Adobe Captivate. There's also another program which does not work together with Apple, and this is why I'm not using it, which is Articulate. You might have heard about Articulate. Articulate works as a plugin in Microsoft PowerPoint. You can only use it together with Microsoft Windows or under Microsoft Windows. And here you can create the e-learning right away out of your PowerPoint program. Using the Microsoft PowerPoint software. Disadvantage is that there are fewer options in comparison to Adobe Captivate. But that is then almost a religious question, which program to use. I think you would be fine off with both options. Also, there's a lot of freeware around, but then I said to myself, if I'm spending so much time, if I have high opportunity costs in terms of time that I have to spend, and I don't want to spoil the whole project with poor software. This is why I then started right away with Adobe Captivate, which is, so to say, the benchmark or the market leader. Questions?
Seems like no further questions right now.
Okay. And you can always send me an email afterwards if you have a technical question, if it's too fast, or if another question pops up, just let me know by mail, and I'm happy to answer your questions.